Welcome to our preview. This is the beginning of our 31st season of the Carson City Symphony. We're also celebrating it's like, I hate to think about it this way, but we're starting our 4th decade. Yeah. Okay, yes. And so yeah. So, okay, yeah, right. Condolences. Yeah, condolences, okay. Just think of it, Christina, you're starting your 2nd decade now. Okay, we've tried to select some music representative of this 150th anniversary of the state of Nevada. And this is a signature Nevada 150 event. It is also part of the 13th annual Daniel Pearl World Music Days, an event which is celebrated in 66 countries with a Harmony for Humanity message. And especially as we see some events sort of recreating themselves today, it's interesting to reflect on Daniel Pearl and what he was trying to do. He was a musician and a journalist, and trying to help bring understanding between different people. Well, I'm going to go through my introductions. First, on my left here is Jim Cockey, and he was here 14 years ago. He wrote the piece that's going to be featured in the whole second half of the concert. It's called A Land of Sage and Sun. He lives in Boise, Idaho now. He also has lived in McCall, Idaho, and has done a bunch of different things and musically. And I'm going to go ahead, and on my right is Sean Griffin. He's a poet. He participated in the 2000 premiere of A Land of Sage and Sun. He's published several books of poetry. In the white suit is Mark Twain, otherwise known as McAvoy Lane. Mac has been portraying Mark Twain for 26 years. And he collaborated with me on several projects. And he will be performing a piece called Becoming Mark Twain, which I happen to write, but in Elko on November 22nd. But he also gets featured on the A&E channel and Discovery channel, and when somebody wants the authentic representation of Mark Twain in the 20th century, we turn to McAvoy Lane. The whole world does. Leningrad to Carson City, I guess. And he was in the original production we did 2,000 years ago. Sorry, in the year 2000. Okay, and then on my far left is Rita Guile, who's a poet and writer, and she has experience in acting and entertainment business. She worked for CBS Networks for a number of years. She's also my collaborator with the Mile High Jazz Band on the jazz and poetry events that we do quarterly. And then Christina Thomas just came in here, and she is I want to say Paiute, Shoshone, and Hopi of Hopi descent. And let me find okay. You grew up on the Pyramid Lake Paiute Indian Reservation. She teaches the Paiute language in Washoe County School District. She's a student at UNR, and she's won several awards. And then the other Christina, this is going to be confusing because we put you so close together, is Christina Van Giel, who is a young actress. She's probably the youngest of all of us here. I would bet. She's all but 10, but she has done a number of, we'll have to find out what you've done. We'll get to you in a moment, okay? Okay, all right. So anyhow, I'm just going to briefly cover the pieces that we have on the program. First up, we have a piece called The State of Metamorphosis, which I happened to write for the 125th anniversary of the statehood, so that 1989. And it hasn't been performed since, and I hope that's not indicate the quality of the piece, that nobody's wanted to pick it up. But I've made some adjustments on it, and I thought it would be a kind of nice little rousing introduction to the whole business. It has 3 themes, and it has an opening theme which represents openness of the open place before the European settlers came. We have a second theme which represents industriousness and liveliness, and a third theme which represents resourcefulness. And the whole idea of the metamorphosis is that all the different themes kind of work together and modify each other. The second piece is a piece by Stephen Rosenhaus, who teaches at NYU. He wrote in 1992 for the All-State Orchestra. And we have, the Carson City Symphony has been instrumental in recreating this piece because parts had been lost. And so we're giving this another performance here. The chorus right now, I think, is on stage. They're going through and rehearsing a piece called This Marriage, which is by Eric Whitaker. And Eric is, as I like to refer to him, he's like the rock star among choral conductors these days, if there are any rock stars among choral composers, and conductors too. But he was actually brought up he was born in Nevada, in Reno, went to UNR, was very inspired by working with Dr. Bruce Mayhall and some other instructors at UNR, and has since gone and done some incredible music. Matter of fact, the Reno Chamber Orchestra today and yesterday is doing the piece that he wrote. We're doing this piece, and unfortunately he's flying off to Europe or something to do some work there. But he's a local product of this area. So we thought it would be appropriate for Michael Langham, our conductor, for the chorus to do that. Then we're going to do Home Means Nevada, which was written in 1932 by Bertha Raffetto and is the official state song. And I was commissioned by the Reno Philharmonic to do several arrangements of this, and we're doing what I like to call the big arrangement with chorus and orchestra. And it's actually getting quite a few performances. I'm going to mention something interesting, too. How many people know the song Home Means Nevada? There's a special event coming up on this Thursday at 10 o'clock. They want to have a mass singing of Home Means Nevada. You don't have to be any place. You just have to take a picture of yourself singing it at 10 o'clock. But if you get together with some friends, I think the Douglas County Library has an event. You can go up to Piper's has one? Piper's has one. Yeah, and they're going to take pictures and verify that people are actually doing this. They're trying to set a record for the United States of the most people at one time singing their state song. So if you want to be part of that, unfortunately I'll be in Texas at the time that they're doing that, but no, anyhow, we're going to do a Home Means Nevada. This arrangement was underwritten by the E.L. Wiegand grant. And then we're going to do A Land of Sage and Sun, written by this talented man to my left, Jim Cockey. It was written in year 2000 as a Continental Harmony project, and Carson City Symphony was selected to be the Nevada representative to that big project, which was done in I think all 50 states. So can I pass the microphone over? I'll take that one, though. Okay, all right. In an ideal world, we'd have 7 microphones, but then, okay. So would you like to, so Jim, could you tell us how you conceived of A Land of Sage and Sun, this piece?
Well, it really came out of the process of coming down here to Carson City, meeting a lot of people. There was a whole poetry group, probably part of what you're part of now, that was part of this group of folks that I met and chatted with, and I went up to Virginia City and met Sean, and did a lot of research at the historical center around here, and just sort of amalgamating, and a lot of reading, of course, amalgamating my composite sense of what was Nevada. And so it just gradually emerged basically from research and talking to people.
I know you're using some text by Sean very intently. Do you feel that the text reflects Nevada experience or something?
Well, Sean's poetry is incredible, and Sean, I have to say, you know, I haven't read that poem that you recite in 14 years, and I was listening to it yesterday. Man, now I know why I picked it out. It's just incredible. And the poem, I mean, I just liked his poetry from the get-go, but the particular poem I picked out serves as a sort of as mortar, bricks and mortar through this whole middle section. because he reads a stanza, and then we get a segment of Nevada history. Essentially, we get some of the settlers, we get some of the Native American, but interspersed with this wonderful poem that in and of itself is talking about Nevada.
Yeah, there's a little saying which is attributed to somebody, which is, don't let the truth get in the way of telling a good story. Somebody does tell a good story. Would you pass this microphone on to McAvoy? Would you explain a little bit about the selection that's used in there and what it was like?
Well, I feel so honored and privileged to be a small part of this wonderful production that Jim wrote and David's produced, and all this wonderful talent here. And we're going to pump out so much truth about Nevada, they thought they'd bring me in to balance the whole thing out with some half-truths and innuendos. I did learn in Virginia City a good lie can travel twice around the globe before the truth gets his boots on. But I will get a picture of myself tomorrow at 10, Thursday at 10. I'm going to have a pipe in my mouth. They always ask me to sing Home Means Nevada with my pipe in my mouth. Those who criticize my writing never heard me sing.
Thank you. Would you like to say, Rita, you're reading another text. Can you talk a little bit about that text? I know we kind of threw this on you about 3 weeks ago, but
Even
okay.
less.
Okay. Well, that's how we work. We're flip on a dime. Show business.
Well, I have the privilege of reading during the fifth movement of Jim's piece, and it is an excerpt from Laxalt's book, Nevada, A History. It's about all of Nevada. That's why I'm not in fringe and a cowboy hat, because I have to represent like sort of the angel of the whole state. It's very beautiful music and wonderful words. And I want to mention that Mark Twain used to impersonate McAvoy Lane, but nobody really talks about that.
I can live for a month on a compliment like that without food.
Okay.